Okay. All right, are we on? We're on. Okay, I'm gonna just wait. I'm gonna clean a brush that I need today while I wait just a moment. I'm gonna try to get all the brushes I want to use. I'm gonna use a brush I haven't used in a while. Ooh. If you're wondering what Kiss looks like, that's right there. I'm gonna clean this brush. The edge brush. The brush for us small eyes, small eyeliners, peoples. And we're gonna chat today. There's been so many interesting conversations the last couple days. And we know how Mondays go. I just vent it out. I vent it all out. And we just talk it out. Now, I'm not going to lie. I have to say this now. Well, I'll just say it. I've had a hard time with some interesting cats popping in on the comments, and I'm trying to catch them. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell if they're weirdos or just, I don't know. And so I engage until I'm like, no, and then I do delete them, but I'm a little slow on the uptake, I'm not gonna lie. But lately, the last couple weeks, my lives have had weirdos. So if you are worried you're a weirdo, that means you're probably not. But I have had just like weird comments, and I just sometimes can't tell. But we're going to do our makeup. I'm just getting all the black off of my etch brush because I am doing 2 shadows today. This week I'm focusing in my Facebook group. I always ask for a pick my look in my Facebook group. So if you're not in there, be in there. It's a really beautiful little makeup community where everybody chats. It's nice. If you have a question, I'll answer it, but people will answer you too in there, and it's really nice. It's different than YouTube because you can see other people's comments and you get notifications if somebody comments. So it's fun to have that back and forth and to get other people's opinions that have been using me. I love what my makeup group has turned into on Facebook. It's beautiful. But I do, every Monday, I put together 3 to 4 eyeshadow combinations, and I let everybody in my group that wants to pick the colors. And so this week there's 4, and I did my tallies of what I came up with so far. There's definitely a lead. I have a tie on some, so I'm waiting to see what else pops in for later in the week. But we are going to be doing a 2 shadow color today, and it is going to be Revival and Bend and Snap. If you have Gilded, I would say you're good. Gilded is very close to Bend and Snap. If you have questions, please ask. Be a productive member. I have a kid at my door. I have construction workers, so my dog is barking. We're just rallying through. Okay, this is how it's going to be for a while. I'm super excited though. The classroom will be done, not done, but a wall will be buttoned up so that the kids can use the classroom where we had to take today off of school because they're going to I decided to go with shiplap in there. We just chat a lot in here. We're doing shiplap in there to save money, to save time, to save mess. I'm not a shiplap person. It's not something where I watch Joanna Gaines. I love watching it, but at the same time I was like, shiplap's not my jam. But here I am shiplapping out of necessity, not out of decor. It's going to be a spare room in a few months, so it'll be fine. We don't use that room much when it's a spare room. I think we'll use it if a storm is really bad and it sounds like a freight train, which very frequently happens. But we also, I think we've had 2 guests in 5 years, so it's not a room that get used a lot. So I'm not real worried about this shiplap. Now, our TV room, I don't know what's going to happen. The whole window box is rotted. They're tearing into it right now. But there's a time capsule in it. There's a time capsule in it, and I'm so excited for this. We're going to do our eyes first, and I'm going to kind of do a moody look because Valentine's Day is in a couple days. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but I'm cooking. We're in home. But I'm going to do I saw this look on Pinterest, and I really want to try it, so the colors that we're using today are pretty darn close. And so we're going to do that, but I am going to try Revival as an eyeliner. It's a beautiful eyeliner. You just get it wet and it makes it nice and deep, and it's so, so pretty. Oh, you scared the bejesus out of me. Can you close that door and let me work, please? Thank you. Honey, I need the door closed because the banging it downstairs. Okay? All right, we're going to prep. I've got my brightening on. Now I'm putting on my setting powder. I think, the more I've been thinking about this, I think using Cupcake or, Strawberry Fields would be a great prep color. It looks pinky purple, but it goes on. You don't see it. I almost think that this would be better as a prep. If you have oily lids, I want to do a bit of a challenge for people with oily lids. Use an eyeshadow to prep instead of setting powder and see if that helps. I think it's a little thicker than our setting powder. It's supposed to be... I can see you, baby. Please stop. It's very fine and pressed and... Babe, honey. Thanks. Should I have canceled school? Maybe not. Oh boy, shows how dirty my office is. Okay. We'll see. But we're going to go in. I think using an eyeshadow might be better if you have oily lids as a way to prep. I got to shut my door. Hold on. She can't. The idea of actually clasping a door shut is always quite foreign to kids. Like, why? Anyway. Okay, so we're going to use, I haven't used this brush in a long time. It's our smudge brush, and it used to be my favorite. I don't know what took me away from it, but all right, I'm going to take Kiss off of it because we're not using Kiss today, but I'm not using my brush cleaner. I don't think it's a good idea. I know the brush cleaner cleans our brushes beautifully, but if you're going to do your eyeshadow, I don't suggest spraying it and cleaning it right before. I think a little hangs on and it can make your eyeshadow blotchy. So that's my tip. You can do it for your face, just not so much when you're playing with powders. Okay, we're going to go in. I love this brush a lot. And we're going to, how do I want to start this? Ooh, I'm going to go to a fluffy brush real quick. The frustration level I'm getting, honey, is thick. Thank you. Good morning, Brandy. I'm having a very hard time with my oldest daughter right now. All right, we're going to go into Bend and Snap with a light brush, and we're going to pop that up here. Here's what I like about our eyeshadows. You can make them light. You can make them punchy. I'm using this as a peekaboo color above where I'm going to make Revival light, and it's going to be a transition color. I have a hair on my palette. I'm hoping the contractors don't need me, but we'll see. I'm going to use this fluff. I know, I want to use the smudge brush. All right, we're going to use the bigger end. So it has this big end and this end. I always wished that they would come in because in the 90s when you did your makeup, if you were around then, you had a brush very similar to this shape, and that was it. There were just different size variations, and that's why I like the etch brush because it has a small version of it for the small eyes, for eyeliner, for smoking. It's so good. So I'm going to use the bigger wide side to go into Revival. We're going to tap this pretty, like I just want to get the tips of the bristles, and I'm going to pop this way up here. There's been some discussion about my hooded eyes. I consider my eyes to be hooded. I think everybody's variation of a hooded eye is different, honey. Is different. So some people, I have a friend and her hooded eye is just a solid, this area is just solid down to the lash line. And I'm just going to bring this up, and I keep mine up here. My hood is really over on this side. I can see my lid over here. Great. Yes, I have a very different variation. I still consider myself hooded, especially over here, because it's not like that. And I'm not willing to make it like that. I don't want Spock brows. I don't, baby, I'm not kidding. Do I gotta lock it? Let me do this, okay? Can I just say, as a stay-at-home mom, everybody thinks your kids are your everything. And it's okay if they're not. Today's that day. I've kind of solved my how do you make things work with sports, dinner, and homework. My husband works very late, and so I don't have the luxury of having him be able to always help. Plus, he's always training for this marathon or some kind of ultra. And I told him he can't do another 100-mile race again. So I'm just using this brush really lightly to just build and pat and bring that up. Isn't that nice? Okay, we're going to pop some more on, and we're going to do the same thing over here. And I hold my brush straight up and down just to hit that lid right. And then I can start pulling it down and blending it out. I like to do my brows last. If you're getting into hooded eyes and figuring out where your placements are, I suggest doing your brows first because you can add eyeshadow space by just bringing this eyebrow tail out a little farther to out here. And sometimes it's like seeing is believing. If you see the brow out, then you can see where you can go, and then you start getting used to it. I don't like to do my brows before my face because I always hit them and biff them and things. But I would say do your brows first and then do it. But do you see how easy these things blend with just a light pushing? You don't have to smash your bristles around. Just using those tips and having that prep of an eyeshadow or an setting powder first makes the blending easier. If you go powder on cream, it does stick and makes it a little harder to blend out. So there we go. But my hood is different than everybody's hood. I mean, no eye is the same. They're all going to be a little bit different. So I can talk about hooded eyes and tips. I can only show an example with mine. But don't yuck someone's yum when they're like, I don't like really, I'm an everyday makeup. I want to be able to do my makeup and go to the grocery store and not look like I just went from prom to casual clothes. So I like everyday makeup. I share a lot of everyday makeup. There are accounts out there with the cut creases and the bold things and the shimmer and the glitters and the things. Go find them. I'm not comfortable with them, and I want to again be able to go, and my daughters are on swim team. I'm a coach for the dry land, which is like doing stretches and planks and whatnot. It's hard to be taken seriously as an adult when you show up like Barbie, okay? People treat you like you're stupid. People treat you like they don't have to listen to you. So I like everyday makeups just because. Oh my heavens.
I'm just coming in to saying I want you to charge it.
Oh, great. Perfect. Thank you. I'm so glad you came in here to tell me that you needed that. Goodbye. These are great, but oh man. It prints out little pictures. You can take a picture of somebody doing their makeup in the office to show how dirty it is, and those are really great little kids' gifts if you're looking for some for like Easter. What is this thing called? I don't even know. And I think you can get them at like Walmart maybe? Walmart, Fred Meyer. I don't know. They were a Christmas gift from I think my mother. But this is what they look like. I don't know. And it comes with papers and all these things. You can get refills, whatever. Great little Easter basket stuffer. Okay. Getting back into our makeup, please. We're going to talk about it. So for hooded eyes, I can only talk about hooded eyes over on this outside. This inside, I am sorry. I really had somebody yucking my yum about how hooded it turns into kind of like a little piss and match a little bit with who's got more hooded eyes, and if you don't have the hoodiest hooded eyes, you shouldn't talk about it. And I'm like, that's not true. Okay, I'm going to go in on the short side, and we're going to press into Revival. This could be a mistake, but this is kind of like that transition, and I'm going to go real thick right here. Look at how pretty that is. It's this mauve-y color, and it's super pretty. And then I'm going to use Bend and Snap to lighten it up. I'm focusing it out here. And then I'm going to leave a bit of my lid over here clear of deep shadow. And then I'm going to pull this out to the outer corner. I like to push this. This is why I like this brush, because it is big, and I can go up onto my hood and my lash line, and I can get right outside of that eye, and that gives me that lift. And it gets on both the hood and the crease, but it can get tricky because you could see where my crease folds right there. So for somebody who doesn't have hooded eyes, I sure got a crease right there. Anyways, it really burnt my biscuit a little bit, but it's okay. I don't know, maybe I'm not as sensitive as it probably seems, but I do take when somebody says something like that and say, okay, well, let's try the bolder eyeliner. And I did. I tried the bolder eyeliner. I have to do the bat wing. It doesn't suit me. And maybe it's because I'm not used to it. That could be it too. So I'm going to play with this bat wing eyeliner. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find a way to do a mini bat. I mean, I've gotten bats in my house. Why not have a bat wing eyeshadow or eyeliner? I don't know. But I'm just working this into that crease. It's when you have hooded eyes, press it, find that crease, and then you can fill it in. I like this brush because it can get into all the places. It's good. It's a good brush. So grabbing it, pressing in with that revival and building it up. And then we're going to go right along the lash line here. I forgot to turn on my do not disturb. Ugh. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Boom. There we go. Okay, do not disturb is on. That makes things way easier. Okay, then I'm not distracted by pop downs and phone calls or whatever. Everybody seems to call me only when I'm doing this. All right, we're going in just like that. And I tried to keep it light right here, whatever. I'm going to use my finger and we're going to go into bend and snap, which is this color. And I'm going to use my finger. I think if you are applying shimmers, you can use your brush. I feel like it goes on more like a glitter, really sheer and spread out. But if you want it more concentrated, use your finger because your bristles, they're going to grab it, but your finger really just presses it on. And then you can focus it where you want it and then tap this on. And this color is so pretty. Again, if you have gilded, you don't need this. I don't like putting same colors like Philly and Cocoa. If you ask my opinion, I'd go Philly over Cocoa. But if you have Cocoa, you don't need Philly. And I think Oak is a staple everybody should have. There's some colors where I love them. Drift. Duh, I'd say Drift all the time. But I had put this color up here and you can barely see it. So now I'm using my finger to just press this in. And the flecks give this lightness to it that helps with hooded eyes because you want that lightness so it doesn't shrink your eye. And I'm just putting that on the inner lid and then up over a little so it's still a little bit dark right there. And you can do placement however you want. It's seriously, the eye is your oyster, okay? Do what makes you feel. If you find the placement that you love, apply the colors like that. I like playing around a little bit. Makeup should be fun. And I am going to play with that bat wing and have as good of a time as I can with it. I am going to try to find a way. I tried that fox eye where you bring it down. It just didn't work for me. It did not, but I did give it a try. It did not work. I record everything, and if it doesn't work, I don't post it. It's like, why post garbage? Everybody likes to see a good train wreck, but that's what Monday Lives are for, okay? Monday Lives are for that. But that's where I'm going to stop on it, and I'm going to add a little down here, but I'm going to do that with the etch brush after my makeup's on. Maybe. Should we add it? I'm going to add a little bit. So we're going to use this etch side, the short side. There's this bigger square side. This is your eyeliner side. I'd say this is your smoking side. I'm going to grab a little bit of the Revival, and I will hit the lash line. Why not? If you have small eyes, I would absolutely 100% recommend you adding this brush to your collection. It gets into those little small spaces and it's so handy. It's such a handy brush. And then if you ever want eyeliner, this is such a good brush. You get it wet and it just makes it super pointy but wide. I don't like using the multitasker brush on the small end for eyeliner. I don't like pointy brushes poking on my eye. I also don't feel like I got as sharp of a line as I do when I get this brush wet. It's so good. This is just a lip brush for me now. That's really all I use it for. All right, let's do our face. That's what everybody really wants to see is the face. And I've got my stuff out. We're going to cover it up. I love covering it up because here's the thing. I like that I can get that full coverage makeup look without that full coverage makeup look. It looks even, it looks pretty, it looks nice. That's the point of makeup. It should feel pretty, it should look pretty, it should feel pretty. Like, it shouldn't feel thick, it shouldn't feel chalky, it shouldn't feel dry. It should not feel dry. And so when you're wearing your makeup, you want that skin-like finish. I can still get that full coverage look without that thick coverage look. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. So I'm able to correct things and hide things the way that I like. And it's so very thin that you still see the problems. It's really the tones you're trying to handle. It's not the coverage when you're correcting. And that's the difference. I like using dense colors because I want them to stay and I want my makeup to stay. So I've gotten a little bit away from using the demis. I don't know why, but I've been using, I like things that do more than one thing. So oak is a great brow color. It's a great eyeshadow color. It can be a really great eyeliner if you like light eyeliners. If you have mature eyes, eyeshadow as eyeliner is soft and lovely, and it doesn't accentuate your eyelid texture. So if you have a hard time quitting the eyeliner, which for me, without eyeliner, I feel like my eyes look more mature. And I feel like when my eyes look more mature, it makes my face look more mature. It's all a matter of preference on your face. But if you miss the eyeliners, try a wet brush and eyeshadow. I think it's softer. All right, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use Aspen, which is this nice concrete color, and it's nice and dense. And I'm going in with my blend brush because it's a light coverage brush, because we're not putting on coverage. We're taking our redness. I've got redness here, I've got redness here, and we're muting it down without putting a color on our face. It's weird, and I always say it's makeup, not magic, and we just tap in. It's makeup, not magic. And I'm going over, I used to get cystic acne with traditional makeup, and I probably didn't have the best skincare habits in my 20s. Who does? But when I was putting my makeup on, I was putting on a thin foundation because even full coverage foundation is thinner than creams. And then I would have to put a concealer on to then, it was almost like my foundation worked as a corrector, and then I had to use concealer as my coverage, and then I had to set it, and that's where the texture came. But then with that setting, it clogged those pores, and those cystic zits became more cystic zits, became more, and those things never come to a head. It's a cyst, and so it's not a pimple, it's a cyst, it's a ball, and then it just gets big, and then you just have to wait for it to go away unless you're a picker, and then it turns into a volcano on your face. And I've done that. I luckily didn't turn into Seal with all the things, but I have a lot of discoloration from my cystic acne. And so I'm just taking that Aspen color and I can just go over it, and I can take the redness out without the coverage. Does that make sense? So the redness is getting muted, but you still see the problems, and you just sweep this on crazy light. And then you have your broken capillaries. I don't mind showing. Before I did Saint, I wouldn't answer the door without my makeup, and now I'm zooming in on cameras and showing you my nostrils. I mean, it's new world for me. It took me a long time to get the courage to get onto YouTube, where strangers are. There's no control. I have control over my Instagram. I have control over my Facebook and the people that I allow in. Here, it's fair game, and so am I. And I know that. That doesn't mean that sometimes things don't sting. I mean, come on. That's like we get in our car and we know the chances. So going on here, I'm fair game. Hate what I do, love what I do, great. Either way, you are free to share your opinions. And opinions, well, we all know some stink more than others. And I have to accept the fact that some stinky ones are going to come through. And that's okay. But I can take something positive out of something stinky. Like we can take somebody's crappy comment and say, what can I take from that and be better with it? Like, I've been told I talk too much. I've been told I'm a lot. To me, instead of shutting up and sitting back, it's more of, okay, maybe that just means I don't let people talk. Maybe I need to leave room for other people to talk, and I can be better from it. That doesn't mean I've got to go away and be less. It just means I need to give room, and then I can share. I don't have to be the only voice. Here I have to be, because there's nobody else that I'm sharing this little screen with. But look at the redness and the way it's gone away using my brush isn't clumpy. You don't see the color, and I just very lightly sweep it on over the redness. It's very, very light, very easy, and I talk a lot, so it takes a while. I'm going to go into Suede Lip Liner, okay? I don't use this as a contour, and I do use this as a lip liner. It is very, very, very pretty. And so I'm going to use the fluffy end of the blend brush, and we're going to go in to it. I have to press in pretty good, and I pinch the bristles, and then I fan them out. and we're going to take this hyperpigmentation, and I'm not going to make it go away, but I am going to try to camouflage it. Okay, we're just bringing this up over all the pigmentation that I have going in right here, up here, and we're just camouflaging it. I think suede is similar in tone, and so I'm able to go around it and kind of hide it. We still see it because we're not, I mean, I could smear this color all over and you wouldn't see it. It's the only color there. But my point here is I'm camouflaging it, and I don't want a heavy amount of makeup. I'm just changing the tone of the skin around it so that when I apply my makeup on, my makeup's going to stay where I put it, and I'm going to be able to give my coverage but not have to do so much makeup. Because if I were to want to cover this up with my makeup without correcting, I'd have to add more. And I don't want to. I want to add just enough. And having this very thin amount to camouflage it is what helps me. That's all it is. Okay, under eyes. I've got my under eyes. I use balm. If you have any bit of maturing skin under your eyes, it is a thin layer of skin. There is texture there no matter what, and it can cause crepiness. I take the balm and I press this up, and that's my balm. I use the heck out of it. I use it on my lips. I use it under my eyes. I'll use it around my, if I have a cold and we've been blowing our nose a lot and our nose is very dry, grab some balm and just put that around there. It's amazing for dry skin. If you have a zit that you've picked and it's got that crusty stuff, put that on there before you put your makeup on, and it will help with that texture, because we're going to put makeup on it. We all know that. If we like makeup, we're going to put makeup over that zit. But if you don't want the, this is so gross, the flaky texture, take some balm and tap over it, and it will help reduce that. It's just good stuff. All right, Frenchie lip and cheek right here. We're going to grab just a little bit, just a bit. And I'm going to tap this on this inner corner where my darkness is, and we're going to turn it peach. I took off my nails and I'm letting them rest, so I have stubby fingers, and I'm just pressing this very lightly. This is just like all the other correcting areas. You want a thin veil amount. It's going to take, do you see the way it's lifted? It's almost blurred, the texture, and the darkness is gone. That's what I like about creams. When you're using thick concealers, you just can't get this kind of consistency that works together. So we're going into that inner corner where it's dark, and then I pull out down and over so that it gets thinner as it goes out, because I don't need as much over here. I really need it focused over here. And using your finger, it's warm and it gets into all those areas, and it's just nice. Nice. I mean, I could go to the store like this if that's what I wanted to do, and it's not what I want to do. All right, now I can go and I can just do my makeup the way that I like. Now I can proceed like my skin looks flawless. Okay, I'm going to use my Ride or Dies, which is the blush and bronzer, and the detail brush. So if you want to color match, you're thinking of trying the makeup, I like starting with these brushes, and there's a couple reasons why. I like this brush because it comes in a collection with bronzer, and we have a lot of bronzers. I think there are 5 bronzers. Really, there's 4. Nobody touches Palm. It's a hideous color. It's awful. Don't touch it. Don't buy it. No. But you get this, and it's $11 off when you buy the collection. So if you're going to buy the bronzer and you're going to get this brush, you get the collection, save yourself $11, and go buy yourself an extra lip color. That's what I say. Okay? And so I always start with this brush because it's forgiving. This is, I think, in my opinion, the most forgiving brush. So send me your makeup-free picture facing a window a couple steps back. This is the most forgiving brush. You apply with this end, and if you over-apply, this will help blend it down and marry everything together. This is also a great brush for applying a setting powder. This is a great blush brush. This brush does so many things, and I like that. I like the detail brush as a second brush because this is great for under eyes. This is great for correcting if you don't want to get the blend brush yet. This is great for getting in and doing the contouring, especially if you're new to contouring. That's it. All right, we're going to go in on the short end. We're going to apply our main highlight. Mine is Candlelit right now. I'm just getting lighter and lighter as we go on, and you always just stamp in, and I'm just going to even out the beard of my face, and I'm just going to swirl this around, bring it up over my scarring. I have larger pores, so pressing this into the crease helps reduce the texture of my pores, and then I think it blends it better, especially with changing skin. Look at how it just evens out the skin tone, gives you a nice finish. That's nice. But I don't need it all over my face. Everything right here is foundational coverage. You can't get that with traditional makeup. You can't. It's different consistencies. I've tried. Have you seen people applying their foundations with their fingers? It's so messy. It's so messy. So I'm using this. We're just going to even out this side now. And I'm just bringing this on. You don't need a heavy hand. A heavy hand can press too much makeup on. And I'm trying to make what I put on my brush go the distance. So just lightly tapping this over my scarring, over my pores, into my nose. Pressing this lightly and just patting it around will help you get the most out of your product. These are small tins, and a lot of people think these won't last very long. It's just not the case. It's not the case. These will last just as much as a traditional foundation because you're not using as much. It's 18% pigmentation of traditional makeup. This is 80%. Everything in here is highly pigmented, so you can still get coverage with less makeup on your face. And then you can just, I like to go as light as I can in this area. I just try to bring what I have out here in. Good. I'm going to tap into both my main and my brightening here. And I'm going to come right down here onto my neck. My neck is lighter than my face, but because I'm so fair right now, bronzer just looks orange. So I just use my main and my brightening to lighten up my main a little bit. That's the other thing. Your color changes a bit sometimes. And so if you're transitioning to summer, if you're getting into spring, getting a little bit more color, you can transition your shades together. You can customize your colors. Like I needed a lighter color on my neck, so I'm able to take my brightening and my main highlight together, and I can tone it down to blend down pretty seamlessly. You can't do that with traditional. I mean, you can get all your bottles out and lay them out and then tap in and try to make that, but or they could just be right here. That's all. All right, going into my detail brush, I'm going into stone. I love stone, especially in the winter, because it has warmth to it. And so I can use this as my contour, but I can bring this down like it's my bronzer too. And I just tap this super light. Super light. Tap it like a stamp. Tap it like a stamp. And it just works. Your shadowing's already there. We don't need to turn our face all one color. This is foundation right here. This is foundation. This is contour. This is going to give me dimension, coverage, and balance. Just bringing it together, shortening up that little forehead, bringing it to my temple. I don't need to apply a bunch of makeup. Have you seen those sticks? No, just put it where you need it and blend it out to where it can go. And then you're using less product and you're making these last just as long. I'm going to go to that small end. I'm going to go into that brightening highlight and see how that shine is right there. That's all this is. This is basically like a concealer, and it's going to brighten. I don't use illuminators. So I have oily skin, and so I don't use illuminators. They make me look a bit greasy. If you have mature skin, I would recommend any of our cream illuminators if you really like that sparkle and you want to put a little extra pizzazz on your face. I let the texture of my skin work as you see that skin is a texture. Skin has a sheen and it does reflect light in different directions. I mean, it's skin. So why not have a makeup that gives you this dewy finish and let your skin show the luminosity of your face? So I don't use an illuminator. I let my makeup do it, or my makeup and my skin work together to do it for me. But when my brightening that's too light goes into my contour that's too dark and they come together, it creates that balance right here. I don't need a foundation color there. And they work together. So again, I've got coverage, I've got balance, and I've got dimension. And it's essentially one layer. Pretty simple. All right, we're going to go in on the side of this brush. That's why I like this brush. I can stamp straight up and down from my forehead, and then I can go right here. And we're going to go just above that shadow of our cheekbone, and we're going to come just above it because we're going to give a little bit of lift. I like to hang mine back, and I like to underblend it. So I want this to look a little bit too dark, and that's the only area I want to put it. What's left on my brush, I'm going to shove that right in front of my earlobe here, and then I'm going to pull it down. This is just going to give me a little chisel that I like. You don't have to do this. It's just whatever. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to contour. You can bronzer. That's what we did before we knew how to contour anyways. You can take your bronzer, swirl it around in this area. I don't have my bronzer in here because I'm not using bronzer right now. You can do this with stone. So I'm going over here. I have that hyperpigmentation that I camouflaged, but my contour is giving it coverage also. And that's the other reason why I like stone. I like olive, I like ash, and I like cedar when people have hyperpigmentation because they hide it so well. And I'm going to underblend this, and then I'm going to bring this up just like that. Pretty easy. Oops. What's left on the brush? Again, shoving that in front of that earlobe. It just gives a little chisel to the back of the jaw. I don't do that whole brown chin strap thing. I just think that's using too much makeup. And I don't have a ton of chins to hide, but I also don't think it really hides them that well. I think they're a good accent. I have a hard time with the jawline though, and that's just me. Okay, we're gonna do the nose. My nose takes me a little extra time, but I do like showing because I want a nice slim nose. This part, everybody has their thing, okay? So for me, I like to overcorrect everything on my nose. So the width, I overcorrect. The bump, I overcorrect. And the tip, I overcorrect. So we have our natural shadow right here. I'm going to come way up here. We're going to overcorrect the bridge, okay? On both sides. I need a mirror, not just a phone. We're going to overcorrect these edges. And it's okay if they end up touching a little bit because I blend mine together. And then we're going to follow to the brow right here. You have natural shadow right there already. This is why I do my brows last. It's because here's where I would biff it up. So we're going to tap that out. We're going to tap this around in this area. And you just tap as you need. But I overcorrect on the sides. And then I'm going to blend these down. And then I'm going to hold my brush like this, and we're just going to kind of bring it together a little bit. We're going to undefine those lines. It's okay. I'm going to grab a little more. We're going to go right here, and we're going to overcorrect right here. Overcorrecting right here, and this gives it a little bit of slim and a little bit of short because of how I like my nose to look. What's left? Just going to shove that under my lip and a little over. And all this does is add a little bit of a shadow with what's left. Boom. We're going to take that small end again. We're going to go in. We're going to pinch it so it's a line. We're going to go into that brightening. We're just going to go right down the middle. And then you're going to use your finger to just tap this up and down. That's why I brought it together so I can straighten it out and I can hide the bump the best that I can. I'm going to add a little bit of brightening to the tip here. Right there. And I just like that as you start applying this makeup, you start seeing your skin glow again, live again, especially as you're maturing. I'm 43 and my skin is starting to show that I'm 43. I got away with being 29 for a very long time. I was 29 for at least 11 years. And I finally said, you know, I've just got to accept the fact that I'm not. It wasn't easy. My goodness. Poor Hugo. He can't be inside. He can't be free outside. It's sad. Okay, we're going to go in, and I'm not going to add bronzer. Contour and bronzer, the difference is warmth versus cool. My stone has warmth to it, but it's still cool. I think it plays very well as being a bronzer of any kind, so I just bring it down just a little bit extra, and it's fine. All right, blush. I can't quit rosewood, even when spring's coming, but I've been playing with dahlia and rosewood, and it's very pretty. I always use Frenchie. I like things that do more than one thing. In my kitchen, on my face, things that do more than one thing. So I'm taking Frenchie. I'm using it to combat my scarring, and because I like my blush to look like blush. And then I'm bringing it over here. Just a little bit, okay? I'm going to take my blush and bronzer brush. I'm going to go into rosewood first, and I'm just going to go right here. Rosewood, I love it. I don't know why. There's sandstone, which is very similar to it. I prefer rosewood. I think it has a touch more pink to it. And it warms up your face really nice. That's very pretty. I like it very subtle. I will say I get more questions about what colors I use when it barely looks like I'm wearing a color. What color is that? And it's not a color. I've even been asked what eyeshadow I'm wearing when I'm not wearing any. People want minimalistic makeup, and that's what I take from it. So I'm just taking that rosewood, I'm bringing it up, bringing it down. I'm doing my under eyes last because I always come way too high right here with my blush. Then I'm going to go in to Dahlia. The Dahlia is, this is your spring and summer color. Once you start getting that summer glow, this is such a beautiful color. It's a great lip color. It's a great blush. I like it as an accent color, but that's because I have scarring. So we're tapping a little on, and I'm going to go way up high, right up here, almost into that temple. It's pretty, and it shouldn't be the color. It's an accent. Just bringing it up at the top of that bone. It's so good. Using that fluffy brush, everything gets blended together. All right, we're going to do the under eyes next. I will always use the blend brush on the small end. It's a bit fluffier than the small end of the detail brush. I prefer it. If you already have a great collection, but you don't have the blend brush, get the blend brush. It's great. And I think you might even be close to free shipping, or it is free shipping to get these two brushes. If you haven't added them, etch brush, blend brush, grab them, get them. There's a link in my description to go shop. Use it. I'd love to have you use it. All right. So I'm going in with my brightening highlight. This is White Peach. So I'm Candlelit and White Peach. When you get your makeup, put them side by side. If I were to put these on different sides, it'd be really hard to tell because it's not a huge difference. It shouldn't be a crazy difference in tone. It shouldn't. And especially for maturing skin, you don't want that extra brightness. It's going to accentuate the fine lines, wrinkles, all the things. So you want it to be close. It's just, I mean, right here versus right here. It's the slightest difference that makes a difference. You can also skip brightening. You don't have to. You don't. So I'm going to take this, and I have my natural shine from the light. I'm just going to hit right there, and we're going to come up that orbital bone, and then we're going to come right up this corner. I like this to be the last place I go as much as I can, because I want more cream on my orbital to then bring it up where my texture is. This is a big texture area for everybody, is this inner corner. There's a lot pinching in and going on in this area. And so less is more. You want a small amount. But I start here because your brightening is meant to show reflecting light. This helps to bring out the trough. I still have a trough. It helps to camouflage it and bring it up. You can take your main highlight if you feel like you still have darkness showing through, and just right over here, add it. Add your main highlight. It's whatever you want. It's just lightly tapping and blending, working with it. It's cream. It's not tart. It's not liquid. It's not powder. So it's going to be a learning curve. It's kind of like when you tried Bare Minerals. It's not liquid foundation. I was a Bare Minerals girl, and it was really hard for me to accept skin texture again because I was so used to trying to not have any texture. I had texture for sure, but I was more worried about having coverage than texture. It's kind of funny. Like, I was like, I don't want to see the colors, but everybody's going to see the bumps because it's powder. It's going to show everything. So going into that brightening highlight, very minimal. I mean, you don't really see it on the bristles. Take that shine and just pop that on and work it up. And then work it up into that inner corner. I don't put shimmers on my inner corners. I think it gets gunky on me, so I don't. But you can use you can take a bright cream and just pop it in that inner corner if you really want that extra brightness. I'm trying to think. You can take a cream illuminator like Pearl and do that if that's what you want to do. I just wouldn't use a powder in that area because then it mixes with gunk. We get gunk. It's okay. So I'm just tapping this. I'm going to use that fluffy and just go between the blush and the under eye, and it's just a light hand. You want very little. I'm going into my main highlight. You want very little product under your eyes. It's a thin layer. I could texturize my 9-year-old's under eyes if I put too much makeup on. And it's just easy. This is just easy makeup. It's just tapping and blending it and making it. I mean, the way I looked at the beginning and the way I look now, I'd say I've done pretty good. We're going to do brows. This is where I say more than one color does more than one thing. I use my eyeshadows. I started my very first brown was oak, and that was my brow color for a while. Then I turned my hair darker. I use both if you want dimension or whatever. So if you already have them, and if oak just isn't dark enough, get your brush wet and it'll make it darker. So I'm going to take this and we're going to draw our brow on. I overplucked my brows in 94 and it took me a really long time. So I had somebody ask me how I got my brows back, and it's just time. I stopped plucking altogether. I let it all grow in down here, and then I went in and had them reshaped. It was a good solid 2 to 3 months for all of the hairs to come back. Now we know we're not going to be letting them grow all willy-nilly down here, so I did pluck a couple, but I stayed away from the base of where my brows were growing back. And so I had to look a certain way for a few months. So for about 3 months, I just let them go buck wild and grow. I let whatever it took. It took time and it wasn't easy. And yeah, but I did it, and now I have a few more hairs. I didn't get a lot back over here, and that's what I'm really focusing on, is more structure up here and actually drawing on a tail out here. And I pull mine pretty good and out, and that gives me that extra real estate I was talking about adding when you draw your brows on. And so now I can look at those brows and I can say, oh, I can add some eyeshadow if I want to. Because there is that hood right here. This is the hood that people think I don't have. This comes down farther than my outer corner. When I'm just resting my face like this, all that color is gone that I had added. All that dark color that I had is gone. So I just flick at the front, and then we're just gonna do this. I'm gonna grab that eyeshadow brush, and I'm gonna get that Revival color out again. And now that I've drawn on my brow, I can add more color out here, and it'll feel good. Just use this side to just blend it down and out. And now I can add that color, and I can see all that extra real estate that I just added with my eyebrow. Do you see how it lifts the eye? Just add, I also talk with this brow. I don't know why, but do you see that little bit? I don't even have eyeliner on. I don't have mascara on. It's just brows help. They help elongate the eye. I don't do that. Everybody says to do this. I don't. I come in a little more than the inner corner, and then I come out for the outer part of the eye, and I think it elongates my eye. I make sure I get my arch. I do it. Okay, what color did I use on my brows? I'm using Trust. Trust, and then if I need to fill in more, I'll go into Oak, and I will fill in with Oak because I don't want it super dark. And so that's how I do it. And then if you ever get the chance to have these little palettes, these are perfect for your purse. These are perfect. If you end up with too many, you can't have too many of these. You can't. Okay. I know my eyes are saying two different things. Wait till I put on eyeliner and mascara. Why such a high arch? I want lift. It's because I want lift. I like the way my face looks with a high arch. I want that extra space on my eyeshadow. I think it makes my eyes look bigger, and I'm going to draw on my other brow. They should not look like they're from two different families. They're sisters, not twins, but they sure aren't cousins. All right, so I start over here, and I'm going to go from this bottom corner, and I'm going to follow that up. And if you're needing to tweeze your brows, draw your brows on first, because you don't want to tweeze into where you draw them on. So draw them on and then go grab your tweezers and go outside of the drawing. All right, so I come up and I build that arch. And sometimes just having that definition of that bottom line that really didn't change the shape, just having that definition line drawn on just from this corner to this arch lifted my brows and gave it a shape. I'm going to try to add I need to add lighting to my office. It's a goal. But I've been told I have to get rid of a lot of things in my office before my husband will let me buy more for it. All right. So now I've come up to that arch, and I'm coming over to that tail, and I'm drawing it straight out, which makes it look higher. Because if I bring it down and I follow my hood, it's going to bring my whole eye down. And as we get older, the last thing we're trying to do with our butt, our boobs, our face is have anything go down. Everything we want back up. Like we buy the extra bras, we buy the special jeans. We're gonna draw on the special brows. We're gonna shove up our contour up high for lift. Like everything's going down. This we have a lot of control over. And so I draw it straight out right here. I'm gonna come a quarter of the way in, and that's when I'm going to draw that extra line. And this is what makes my brows look higher, is when I'm defining my hairs up here. They're there. I'm just connecting them. And then I meet that tail. And I add as I go. And that's why I like having these little palettes, because it's just boonk, boonk, boonk. All right, I'm going to do that front corner. Just bring it in a little more. It doesn't have to match your nose, but do you see how that natural shadow hits that brow? And then we just flick it up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Using that oak color. If you have an old, I used to get CoverGirl, they had brown palettes. That was my contour, that was my eyeliner, that was my brows, and that was my eyeshadow. Do not hate your brows. You just haven't figured out your brows. Just get to know them. They have, I used to hate my brows too. I hated my brows. I was looking at pictures with my husband last night. I hated my brows 5 years ago. It's working with them. The more you work with them, but on Amazon, you can buy eyebrow templates. And I would urge you to get them. They're very inexpensive. They're like $5 to $7, and there's a bunch. And I'm not saying you should stamp your brows on, but you can do the same thing with a flick brush and have that thing on there. And you could find the shape you like for your face. There's so many things on Pinterest, Google, everywhere that talks about eyebrow shapes for face shapes. The same thing for contour. I'm sorry. I'm not one that says I can only wear my contour this way because my face is shaped this way. I'm like, no, screw rules. Put it on. Find ways you like it. And when you find one you like, that's it. There is no rule. There's no stinking rule for anything. There's no like my eyelids are mature, so I can't wear shimmer anymore. BS. Mature lids accentuate low fleck eyeshadows so beautifully. So you can use your texture with you. As your skin matures, it gets all textury. My skin texture creates a glow that I like. So I use my scaly 40-something skin to illuminate my face. I don't need a shimmer. It's just finding what you like on you should walk. I'm not wearing my makeup for you guys. I'm not wearing my makeup for my husband. I mean, it got me in the door, but my sparkling personality is what's kept me here. But makeup is for us. It's for when we walk down the stairs and walk by a mirror. It's for when we are washing our hands and looking in the mirror and what are you doing when you wash your hands? You're doing this and you're looking at your face. It's what you want. It's what you want for your face. That's it. When you feel good, they'll know it. When I feel good, you guys know it. So that's all makeup should be. It should be fun. It should feel good. If it's not those two things, we're doing it wrong. And that's it. But my skin looks better with, I don't hate how I look without makeup. I wish I had better eyelashes without makeup, but I can glue those on. But I don't hate how I look without makeup anymore. And maybe that's been from coming up on here and doing this, but I love the way my skin looks in this makeup. That's what made the difference for me. I always liked my makeup. I loved the ritual of my makeup. There's a reason it took so long, and that's because liquid foundation can be really hard to make look skin-like. So it took me 45 minutes, sometimes to an hour to do my makeup, whereas right now it has, but that's because I talk too much. But this makeup makes you feel good. I just think so. Yes. Okay. I'm going to say something controversial. This is an MLM. There's bad MLMers out there. That's what makes MLMs bad. I treat this as I have a great product and I like to share it. And gosh darn it, if I'm able to make a couple bucks, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And when I quit working, I was a single mom for a long time. So when I quit working, I was like, I have no money. All I wanted was a couple bucks to go buy a dang coffee. And I liked this makeup and I was able to buy coffee. I was able to get coffee money. But I treat this like I would treat a restaurant. If I like a restaurant, I'll tell you about it. And if they want to give me a free dessert for it, Okay. Okay. I don't think anybody's going to turn down free dessert. Anyway, let's get off my soapbox there. All right, I'm taking Maybelline Tattoo Studio. I love this stuff. It's good. It's good. And I'm going to waterline with it. And this is going to fill my lashes a little bit. I have short lashes, thin lashes. They don't grow on the inside. They stop growing right here, so I stop waterlining there. Boom. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do it again. I don't love waterlining at the bottom. If I have a deep smoky eye, I will. Now I'm flicking up into my lashes here. Flicking up into the lashes here. And then I'm going to go into that etch brush right here on the short end. We're going to go into that Revival color that's on my lids. So we're going to go into Revival here. We're going to smoosh it in. And then we're going to tap it off. Okay, and then I'm going to press this into my lashes. Have you heard of the color wheel for eyes? So for me, my eyes are brown, but they have a touch of green. So you're supposed to go to, do I have a color wheel on this one? No. Where's my damn color wheels? Color wheels. So you're supposed to take these color wheels here and you're supposed to find your eye color. Okay. So say you've got blue eyes or green. So me, I'm going to go into this blue-green area right here. And then I'm supposed to come over here and I'm supposed to find colors with those kinds of tones. It's going to bring out my eyes. Have you heard of this? I haven't done it yet. Okay. So I'm going to take, I like using purples on my eyes. I love using pomegranate by my eyes, but you're supposed to put these, I think it's hard with brown eyes, but if you have hazel or blue or green, you're supposed to put them on the inner corner and the outer corner, and it's supposed to bring them out. Pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going into that Revival color, pressing it in, and I'm pressing it into my lash line and setting my eyeliner. This takes time to get used to doing. I only go about halfway across. I don't go all the way across. And then I'm going to flick this out, and I'm going to smudge it into the top lash line above. Same here. This has such a pretty purple hue to it. I like it a lot. Okay. Blue eyes and use burgundy. Beautiful. See? I don't know. I heard about this little thingy. I think it's hard for me because I have brown eyes, but I like hearing people's opinions on that. But it's just a thought. All right, I'm going to take this square end and I'm going to spray it with setting spray. This is Saint setting spray. Oh, my computer's on the floor. I don't want to spray my computer. And I'm getting the bristles nice and wet. And then I'm going to go like that. And it makes it sharp. Let's use my hair. Nice and sharp. Okay, I'm going to go in. Sorry, they're ripping a window out downstairs. And there's a time capsule in it. And I'm so excited. I'm waiting to hear them say, we found it. I told them about it this morning. I just found out about it Friday night from my mother-in-law. So we live in my husband's home that he grew up in. And she sent me a message. Okay, so I have a very thin amount of this color on. I'm going to tap off the excess. And then we're going to press this in. And I'm going to do that little wing. That little wing you can barely see. And I go to the edge of my eye. Okay, I go to the edge of the eye. And then I use, this is where I'm going to get all up in my business here. But I don't let this full brush be my full wing. I work it out. So I start here and I'm bringing it up and out. And I don't like my crease. I don't want to go into that crease. But I say a wet brush with setting spray and powder. We have a Black Friday eyeliner that's a cream. It doesn't set, so it will transfer with hooded eyes. And I don't like that, so I like using eyeshadow with setting spray. It stays. But this is the same color. Look at that pretty eyeliner, okay? We're going to take, and we're just going to use this as an eyeliner. So I have this Revival color as this transition shade here. It's this deeper shade here, and now it's my eyeliner. I like something that does more than one thing. I like something that can be more than one thing, and this is such, if you like, what did you say, use burgundy colors, try Revival. It's a beautiful color. I'm going to come right here and I'm going to hit my inner where my lashes used to be, and I'm going to put it right here, and it's going to give the illusion that I have eyeliner all the way across. Look at how pretty that is. We'll just add a little bit to our lash line here. I love this color. I'm going to use this smoky end, this smudge end, and I'm just gonna add some right there. Pretty pretty. Pretty pretty. All right, this is still wet. We're gonna go in again. We're adding it on, tapping it off, and we're gonna stamp along the lash line here, and then we're gonna build it up, and then we're just using this brush to come out. So it's not all on my lid, and I'm working with my crease because my crease, again, pulls down. It pulls it down, but I like when we can take two colors and we can make something great. So I used my shimmer here. It's under my brow bone. Nice and light because I used a fluffy brush. Okay? And then we're bringing this over, and then we'll add, we're gonna add a little bit more, and we're gonna do this. Okay. Oh, we're getting, let's see. Gonna just work this in, work this out, and then we're gonna go right here. And if these aren't your colors, like I'm sure this horrible means horrible, you just forgot your H, and that's okay, I do it all the time. Use different colors or don't watch my videos. But you can take any of these colors and switch them out with browns. You can switch them out with oranges. That is one of the colors that I'm doing this week, is an orange color. Don't turn your nose up at it. I did for such a long, I lived in the browns for forever, and now oranges are such a beautiful transition color. All right, now I'm gonna do my mascara really quick. I'd use L'Oreal as a primer. Good stuff, good stuff. And we're just gonna build up these thin lashes, and I'm going about halfway down and up, and then I'm building length. That's how I do it. I do Lilac Street glue-on lashes. I just do it when I need to, and I don't need to right now. I don't need to. So we're gonna build this up. I'm trying to wrap this up because I have been here for an hour. That's every Monday though, okay? Let's just delete this person. Perfect. Okay. Some people just, I feel bad for whatever they have going on. All right. Because there's a reason. Anyways, so we're going to take this. This is Bare Minerals Lashtopia. I'm going to wiggle at the root to thicken them at the root, and then I build out and up like I do with everything. I'm kind of glad that big crazy lashes are possibly trending out because there's so much work. But I've used Lilac Street. They are lightweight, and that's what I liked. I've used other ones, and I just felt that the band was very heavy. But Lilac Street, they have a really great starter kit if you're looking for one, and it comes with everything. The tweezers, the glue, conditioner. But what I like the most about them, look at how the mascara just good. All right, what I like about, to me, my biggest pet peeve with those glue-on lashes for under and up, I like them because you don't see the band. But I also like that Lilac Street has this it's a clear mascara you put on after you've applied them, and it takes the stick off. So when I'm doing eyeshadows, what would happen with my other brands is that the powder would fall on top and it would stick to the powder. And so if you were to go back, say, in my Facebook group and see them, you would see powder collecting on top of the eyelashes, and it drove me nuts. And I hated it, so I stopped using them just because of that. The lashes look great like this, but you could see the eyeshadow sticking to the glue, and I didn't like that. All right. Mascara's on. It takes a little bit of time, so I'll just ramble about other things. All right. I'm going to talk about one more thing because I haven't done my lips. Maturing lips. So you know how I like everything to go up, and I'm staying zoomed in for a reason. So I added a contour right here. So you can't see it, but then I go like this and you can see this little bit of contour. I added a little Gomez Adams right there for some shadow, and I want my lips to have a curl, but I don't want to outer line them. But also I like lift. So I draw my brows up a little bit higher. I bring my eyeshadow up a little higher on the outside, my contour. I do the same thing with my lip. So if you look at your lips, sorry, okay. Everything should go up. I mean, I angle my contour to help lift my cheeks. I use my brows to lift I like my eyes because they're hooded. I use my brows, my shadow, my liner to give my eyes the illusion of lift. And so for my lips, everybody has this outer lip line and then they have an inner lip line. So we can take our main highlight and we're going to go right over here. Hold on, everybody. This is ridiculous. Okay. Hold on a minute. Who did I hide? There we go. All right. So we're taking our main highlight and we're just going to hide that outer lip line. Taking it and we're going to hide this outer lip line right here. Okay. And then we can go in and I'm going to use my multitasker brush and I'm going to go into Renaissance and I'm going to line here. I'm going to start on my lip and then right over here, I'm going to get that inner lip line and then meet it on the outside. Right like that. So this is the brush. This is a multitasker. It's very pointy, very nice. Hold on. I hate this. This is ridiculous. Okay. If I wanted comments like that, I'd talk to my husband. All right. All right. So we're going to grab Renaissance and we're going to go right up here and we're going to line and we're not going to hit the corner. Okay. You want to line it, but you don't need to define that outer corner. It's already there. They come together and it's fine. So we just really define the lip. You don't need an outer line. We did that with the shadow. Okay. And then you can take and you can blend it out. And then I'm going to take Dahlia. And we're going to add Dahlia. Renaissance goes with so many really great colors. So when you're using satins, they can look drying. Some lipsticks can look very drying. And you can add balm on top. So we're going to take that balm I put under my eyes and we're going to just add that on top and marry it all together and have a decent lip color. And so when you do that lip line, I think my kids are fighting. We don't need to be this close to my face anymore. It just gives that little clean upward motion right here. It's just little ticks, little changes, and it all can work together. It's just finding the colors you like, finding the placements that you like, and finding the things that when you put it on and you say, I like that, then that's all you need. That's it. So if you want to try this makeup, if you want to shop any of the colors I used today, there's a link in the description. Again, if I wanted these kinds of stupid comments, I'd talk to my husband. My gosh. All right. But using these colors to work with what you like when your makeup's on is all that matters. Ginger, don't worry if you missed it because it's going to be saved. And it is long. And you're lucky because if you're going to watch it on the replay, you can zip through all the little things that you don't want to see. Everybody else had to sit through and listen to me talk. But here's the nice thing about taking cream makeups. They work with your skin. They grow with your skin. So as your skin changes, your makeup gets to change with it, and you're not needing to continuously find new products. I really think that I always liked my makeup. I always liked doing my makeup. And then I tried Saint makeup and I liked it more. And that's all that mattered. It's affordable, $16 a color. This is affordable makeup and it's completely customizable to what you want out of your makeup. And the palettes, they don't have to be this big. They can be nice and small. We have all different sizes, 4s, 8, 12, 18. I'm getting distracted. But this can be whatever you want out of it. And if you don't want it, that's okay too. If you took this tutorial as just methods for what you could do with your regular makeup, that's great too. I do it all the time. A lot of the tips and tricks like the lip tip and the eyebrow tips are all tips I've gotten from other makeup products. So you can watch things for inspiration, not necessarily whatever. So I'm going to go because I'm getting so frustrated with the comments. But I've never had to block so many people. All right. So Saint makeup, I'd love to color match you. Please go ahead. There's a link in the description to get color matched. I would love to color match you. and have a great, hold on. Please. Thank you. Wow, so many. Ugh, gosh. Have a great day.